welcome back to another episode of Not Like Us, Beyond the Classroom. I'm Ash with...
Rafa, and welcome back, guys.
Welcome back. This is episode 6. If you've been watching us, oh my god, we are halfway through the season. If you don't know this, we intended to record one season with 8 episodes. We already recorded like 5 episodes. This is episode 6, almost at the end. And today's topic, it's something so controversial, yet something very, very important. The kind of things that I've always been asked about, not only by students. When I was a student, I was asked about this. What is the topic today, Rafa?
So, how important it is to get a, let's say, how do you say, like official education, like to get a title, to get like the traditional education where you go to university and get a diploma and then you get a job and stuff, right? There is some strong trends questioning about it, whether you still need that to be successful or not. So yeah, that's the topic of today. And something we want to mention before, we're in a very special setting today, because you can see that it's all covered in white because of the snow, but also we have the snow hitting our faces. That's why we're wearing sunglasses. So yeah, you don't see this very often. So hope you like it also.
For those who are in Mexico and also Malaysia, where it's always hot and sunny, there will be such a nice thing to see, a little bit different, right? And we decided to shoot outdoors today. We actually didn't plan to shoot outdoors. We planned to shoot indoors, but the place that we wanted to go was closed and then we couldn't get access in, right? So let's talk a little bit about whether you need a university degree or no, right? We live in an era of AI now, artificial intelligence. You have ChatGPT, which has advanced so much. We have the DeepSeek AI, all the AI and all the technological advancements happening around the world. It begs the question now, do you really need it? Because now you can ask, you can even get ChatGPT to teach you. Why do you need a degree, right? A lot of the time, many famous people also you will see like Mark Zuckerberg, who famously dropped out from Harvard, who did not complete his degree. It's running a multi-billion-dollar companies, right? So, Rafa, I'm a bit clueless now. Do we need a degree? Because we have a degree. Do you think it's still worth it for us to have it, or for students to pursue it, or they should forgo it and do something else?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my main take, I have a lot of ideas regarding this, right? I would say it depends. The typical consultant answer, right? It depends. It depends on who you are, what do you want, and what are your motivations and incentives and stuff. So yeah, we see a lot of cases of people. For example, in Mexico, there's a lot of taqueros literally selling tacos. They didn't go to the university and they are making tons of money, while you have other persons that probably they have a PhD and stuff and they are getting jobs that are really, really low paid, right? So people, especially youngsters, look at it and say like, what's the point in going to university if you get the highest degree and you get access to only like not so well paid jobs and you can just start your own business and not have it. So short answer would be you don't need a degree. But that's the very short answer. There is too much other ideas that I want to share now. How about you? What's your initial take?
I love what you say about the tacos thing, because in Malaysia we have something similar. We call it Ramly Burger. I think I brought you. Remember at midnight we went to the burger chain, right? They made a lot of money, bro. Do you know that they can cash out around 30,000 ringgit to 40,000 ringgit per month? Per month. Can you times it with 12? How much money they can get by just selling burger? And they don't even have a college degree or anything, right? So for me, when I was at like 18, 19, I was in the camp where I feel like having a degree is useless because I was already working, right? If you watch in the previous episode, I told you I've always been working full time. I'm already earning money, right? But it was my mom who taught me the power of education, right? You know why my mom taught me? Because I was the first generation in my family that have a college degree. Me and my sister, right? My elder sister. My dad doesn't have a college degree. My mom doesn't. My grandma doesn't have, right? So for her, I always feel like, I told this to my mom before, Ma, if you have the college degree and networking that I have, the network that I have, you would have gotten far in your business, in your career. But it was because that she was always kind of like being stopped because she doesn't have a degree. That stopped her, right? After seeing her as an amazing businesswoman as she is, being stopped by people, I realized that, oh, okay, you do need a college degree, right? This is what other people are saying, huh?
Yeah, that's correct. Like, yeah, I cannot come to a podcast and say, you don't need a degree, because I have a degree and that has helped me a lot to reach a lot of things. The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now in professionally is because I have those degrees, right? But I would say the important thing is the approach that you give it to it. I remember when we were on the MBA, we had a lot of friends from different countries, India, Nigeria, South Africa, etc., etc. And everyone was really stressed about like, oh, we came here, we invested so much time and money, and now we need to get a job so we can pay it back and stuff. And my approach was always like, bro, that's not the right approach because you are thinking it like in a very transactional way. If you are going to an MBA, it's because you want to learn, you want to understand the world, you want to learn. Quick parenthesis, what we're saying is mostly focused for business and related topics, right? If we're talking about engineering or something else, might be different, but especially for business and these kind of topics. If, for example, if you go to formal education, you need to learn, not to have grades, not to pass, not to get a diploma, but to actually understand about economics, actually understand about marketing, actually understand about all the things, finance, data analytics, supply chain. And then with that knowledge, by nature, it will come the answers that you're looking for. It can be in the form of a job, or it can be in the form of a business or a project, etc. But the focus should be in actually learning and not in just getting the diploma to get something, right? That would be my second main idea.
Yeah, I love what Rafa said. It's also the thing that I've learned from when I was job hunting after the MBA. It was Rafa who did a wake up call to me because I was looking for an MBA paying job. And you know, us MBA, the stereotype us MBA are asshole, arrogant, and everything. Which, after being surrounded by MBAs, I realized there's some truth to it. But Rafa made me realize that you are, like he said, right? Don't focus on too much on the transactional thing. You think that you get a degree, you have to get an MBA level job. Not really. If you think about it, now my job as a lecturer, right? Does it correlate with my MBA? Not really. My whole MBA journey, I will always say this. Shout out to Noriana Najib. She's the daughter of the Prime Minister Najib Razak. Datuk Sri Najib Razak. She taught me this when I was looking for, when I was applying for a business school. She said to me, Ash, the MBA is a soul searching journey, right? You will discover things about yourself that you've never discovered this before. It's nothing about learning for econs. It's nothing about learning the financial accounting, management operation. Yeah, you learn about all this thing, but the most important part, you learn to discover yourself, right? I think it's kind of essence what you said, right? All right, we talk about like, do you need a college degree? Do you not need a college degree? Let's face it, some jobs, bro, do require a college degree, right? For example, if you want to be a doctor, you need a college degree. You need to go to med school. If you want to practice law, you have to go to law school. And if you want to go, I mean, like, if you want to become an engineer, if you want to become an architect, all these jobs requires a college degree, right? So I think also, like Rafa said in the beginning, right, it depends on what kind of path that you want to take. If you want to be a doctor, for sure, are you sure like you want to be operated by a doctor that don't have any medical degree? Wouldn't that be dangerous, guys? I wouldn't allow someone to touch me without a degree, right? If it were up to be that way, right? You agree so, no?
Yes, definitely. And I think another idea that I was thinking before coming to record this, it was like this bias that it's very easy to generate because we see posts on social media and we know the history, the story about Mark Zuckerberg and who else is a famous dropout? Steve Jobs, right? Elon Musk. There are many people that didn't finish their degrees because they actually built some of the greatest business in history of humanity, right? And people look at them, even Mr. Beast, now that he's very popular on social media. People look at these examples and they say, like, you see, they built the greatest companies and they didn't go to school. But that is called the availability bias, right? So we have access to these 4, 5, 10, 100 stories of people that are extremely successful without having a degree, and we think that's how it is, right? Or we think that's how it could be. But actually, we had access to the whole data set, right? And we could see the whole amount of people that are being successful nowadays, and correlated with the university and the college degrees that they have, it would be much, much stronger than what we have, right? So don't let you be fooled by those stories, right? And say, oh, I want to be like Steve Jobs, because that's 1 in a million. That's why they are famous. That's why they got all the media attention and stuff, right? But it's very hard for you to be one of those of 1 million. So if my suggestion would be like, yes, don't look at those stories, build your own story, and usually having college degrees, right, will help you open a lot of doors. Yeah.
I'm just laughing because, guys, let's face it, Mark Zuckerberg dropped out from Harvard, an Ivy League school. If you study in your local university, you want to drop out, come on. This is the reality check from you. You did not drop out. Most of them dropped out from an Ivy League school. You have to understand that. The fact that they've been accepted to go to that school means that they are extraordinary, they are exceptional. You have to understand that, right?
And they drop out because they already had something, right? So if that's your case, you're already working and you are building something and it's already good, that would be the case, right? But if that's not your case, then it's better to go the safe way, yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit whether you actually need a degree to get a job? This is a common misconception. I think a lot of the students also, when I speak to them, like they always thought that, oh, I study business and marketing, I have to go into marketing. Oh, I study advertising, I have to go into I study finance and investment, I have to go into finance investment. Guys, this degree, okay, 50 years ago, it could be, yes, you want to go get a job, you need to have a degree. But this day, it's a little bit more abstract, right? You need a degree. For me, the way I look at it, the experience that you had in college for 4 years, it teaches you a lot of things. It teaches you a lot the theory part, but the most important part is it teaches you how to collaborate with others. How do you work with someone who are freeloaders, right? How do you manage your time, right? How do you jump between projects, between courses and everything? So those are the most important part, right? That you learn in degree. What else do you learn in college, Rafa?
Yeah. Like for example, if I have to hire someone and I see that he had good grades and stuff, I don't think like, oh, he knows this or he knows that. I think like this guy is someone that cares about his projects, that he puts effort into it, he's organized, and that's how he managed to go through the whole university or whatever, right? So it's the management and the day-to-day and the how to work in today's world, what you can learn in university is like a playground, right? All the things you do here, you can do it, but it's a safe space where you can fall, you can make mistakes, and nothing will happen. I mean, you might fail a course or something, but nothing more than that, right? But actually, when you go out, the more you are a better student and you learn how to deliver quality projects and stuff, the more it will help you out when you are out there competing and working in the real world here.
Yeah. So that's why every time I hear my students say, oh, can I change my group mates, blah, blah. Guys, do you think I love the people that I work with, every company that I work with? Not really. I don't love everyone, right? If you know me well, I hate human in general. That's why every time my student asks me like, who's your favorite student? I will always say that I hate my students equally, right? I don't love you guys. I hate you guys equally. But if you notice, if you know who I am, you know that it's me just teasing you, right? So Rafa, you travel a lot, right? You travel to how many countries?
I think 27, 28.
27 to 28 countries. Do you think you will able to travel? Because, okay, let's get a little bit of background, right? So my background is I have diploma in communication and media study. I have degree in mass communication. I majored in public relations. I also have an MBA from Asia School of Business and also in collaboration with MIT Sloan. Rafa, tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, talking about my experience. Yeah, I studied business in Querétaro, in my city, in Mexico, Universidad de Anáhuac. And then I got my first master's degree in Barcelona. It was in project management in La Salle. And then the MBA with Asia School of Business also in Malaysia. That's where I met Ashman and everyone there. That it's very cool people. So yeah, that's
related to the countries that you travel. Do you think you can travel?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, for me, education has been my passport, right? Even if you look at my social media, I say like education and technology are my passports, and I really believe in it because among all the 28 countries that I have visited, only 2 or 3 I have visited them just for fun, just for vacation, just for holidays. The rest of them it has been because either I had to work there, I got a job there, I had an internship, I had a seminar, I got a scholarship to study or something. So yeah, education can be like a great opportunity also for you to get to know the world and also networking, right? All the people that I have met during these seminars, courses, masters, etc., they are part of my network, and that's how also you can build your own business and your own opportunities. So yeah, if you're not a millionaire and you want to travel, become a good student, learn English, learn how to use technology, and it will help you a lot. Yeah.
Because the whole idea of us sharing you this, that like Rafa said, education is his passport to travel. Similarly with me, I travel a lot because of work, right? And I wouldn't get my work because without my educations, right? So I want to give like a huge shout out to my mom, because when I was like 20, 18, 20, 21, I remember I fought with her many times because I told her that this is useless. I already have a good job. I'm getting promoted. My mama told me it's nope. So I compromised with her. I did my degree part-time, right? So I told her like, I will still have my college degree, but I do it part-time. It takes me a little bit longer to get it, right? So let's talk a little bit about your degree, and also a lot of people, because if you notice my background is communication, right? A lot of people say, oh, communication degree is useless. Liberal arts degree is useless, right? Is there such thing as useless degree in your opinion?
Why don't you start?
Yeah, I don't think there's no such thing as useless degree. For me, when you decided to go to college, you take it upon yourself that you want to improve yourself, right? And I told you earlier in the episodes, right? When you go to college, it's more about learning how to collaborate with others, understanding yourself, and also self-improvement a lot, right? Apart from the theory part, right? So if you tell me like if I study communication is useless, I do you know why I say this? Because I went to a boarding school, an all boys boarding school, which is I did a science stream. Like I studied chemistry, biology, physics, additional mathematics, all the hard part, right? So it's unusual for people like me coming from that school. It was a school for genius, right? To go and study communication. Even some of my relatives, some of my close friends said, like, "Why you go? It's just a pointless degree, right?" But funny things 20 years later, now that we have ChatGPT and you have all this AI, you need to prompt this AI, right? And a lot of these engineers, people who study finance, who are in finance, who make fun of our degree, they struggle to prompt. And sometimes they will say that, oh, ChatGPT is not that great. When I look at that prompt, I literally look at them and say, you are not asking the right question. In the communication degree, bro, I have a specific class that we were taught to how to think critically and how to ask question. And that helps me to use ChatGPT every day, bro, because I know specifically how to get the right kind of information from ChatGPT after learning from my diploma years, right? So there's no such thing as useless degree, right? It goes back to what Rafa said earlier, what I said earlier, right? What are you trying to learn and get from this 4 years journey, right? What do you think? Is there such thing?
I will challenge you a little bit. I would say yes, there are useless degrees, but it's not about what you study. It's about your approach to it, right? If you go to school and you think like, oh, I'm gonna get my diploma, and then that will make me attractive for the job market and stuff, you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money or your family's money. That would be useless because that's not how it works. I have seen a lot of people that got the same diplomas as me and then they are not doing anything really valuable with it, right? So yeah, in that sense, and I'm glad you mentioned the AI, because I think that's going to have a great impact. And I cannot tell you how it's going to be. Maybe there's going to be some changes. And I think education is going to be very, very strongly impacted by it, right? Because information is a commodity now. Think about it. Like 500 years ago, if you wanted to learn something, you needed to go to the church and be a monk. And you need to be like a very privileged one, right? And then we had the books and it became more democratized and people started reading. And now we have internet, so everyone has internet. But now we have ChatGPT, everyone has AI tools. So all the information from all history is available for us at distance. So it's not about learning things, it's about how to use them. And that is creating a whole new reality that even some people that work in education are still struggling to understand and to accept it like it is, right? Because it's really hard if you have a PhD, for example, and you study 5 years of your life. And then someone comes and says like, oh, I have like 5 PhDs working for me with a prompt and they are like my slaves. Literally, I can tell them to do whatever they want. For them, it's challenging, right? But that's the reality. So yeah, there is a future that I cannot fully foresee, but definitely there will be some changes on education.
Okay, I'm gonna say something controversial. I'm also gonna challenge you a little bit, right? I like what you said earlier about how they commoditized reading, right? Before this education was very privileged. I have a feeling, this is just my theory. Hopefully 5 years from now, people will discover this video and realize this. I have a theory that people are spreading this information, also this ideology that you don't need a college degree, so that only a selected few have the access of education. Because remember when college degree 50, 60 or 100 years ago, it was something that the rich and noble people are able to access. right? The peasants, they are not able to access all these kind of things. The people who are different skin color were not able to access, right? So I have a feeling that people do this on purpose, right? Because people feel like, oh, now that everybody has a degree, it's so hard to compete and everything. Let's make it a little bit different now. Let's take people that you don't need a college degree so that less and less people are enrolling. It's sad for me to see that less and less high school graduates are going to tertiary education and going to college, because you are actually being influenced by them. And if you say that Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have he's a college dropout and everything, right? Do you know when Meta hire, when Google hire, they still require a college degree, guys? So when you said, oh, we don't need a college degree, how are you gonna apply for a job? Speaking from my personal experience, so because I've always started my career early, I started my career with only a diploma, right, in communication and media. When I was about to scale up myself and go apply jobs at the bigger companies like KPMG, Deloitte, McKinsey, I had an interview with them. They always tell me this one thing. They will say, Ash, we really, really love you. You're amazing. We've seen your work. You created impact. Unfortunately, this job requires at least a bachelor's degree, which at that point when I was applying, I only have a diploma, right? I always hit a brick wall, right? And when I got my college degree, bachelor's degree, when I was about to scale up even further, they told me, oh, Ash, we need you to have a master's degree or something like that. It's always something like, I always hit a brick wall, right? And let's face it, right? I wouldn't be here in Kazakhstan talking in the snow without my MBA, without my bachelor's degree, right? All these things, like Rafa said, like, this is my passport. This is my kind of access to go out, right? To kind of improve myself, no? Right? So I know it's a little bit controversial to say that, but it could be that, right? So let's face a little bit the reality. As much as we want to advocate that you really need a college degree, some people, bro, they don't respond well in the 4 years program, right? In the traditional degree, right? If you hate going to class and just sit from 9 to 5, there are other ways for you to obtain a certification, like qualification, right? When we talk about education, it doesn't mean that it only focuses on college degree. Granted, for the past few minutes that we talk about college degree, but you actually can get other certification, right? Who better way to talk about certification than Rafa? Rafa, you have a few certification on your belt, no? Tell us a little bit about certification. How does it differ compared to the college degree?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like absolutely like they are not substitutes, right? Mostly they are complements, right? But yeah, it can also be a substitute. Like, for example, I have the project management professional certification. That is it's like a paper that says like, hey, you don't have to explain and say, because if you have that paper, people know already that you know about that topic, right? So that's the power of certifications. And and sometimes the relationship between cost benefit is even much better than the formal education, right? For example, getting the PMP certification is much cheaper than getting an MBA, and sometimes it opens much more doors and much more valuable opportunities than an MBA, right? And it makes sense because there's plenty of MBAs, but PMPs there are not so many, right? So it's also like a supply-demand thing. So yeah, but you're right. Like, you don't need a college to get a lot of certifications. There are a lot of even free certifications by Google, by Nvidia now, where you can learn how to use AI and stuff. And that would be like a good way to enter to the future.
Yeah. So when I talk about the traditional way of learning, right, there's many ways. When I say about traditional way, means that it doesn't mean that you have to be a full-time student, go to class from 9 to 5. No, I did it differently. I did a part-time degree. I was working full-time and I went to classes on the weekend and after I work, right? It was hard, but it was something different, right? So for me, because I hate just being there in the classroom every day, just listen to it. I hate it. I want something more practical, right? That's why I did. I pursued the more unconventional route, right? If you don't like that, you don't like full time, can you do part time? If you don't like part time, you can even do like certifications, right? But you need to find the right certification that are equivalent, or like Rafa said, right? It's not a complete substitute. It's just a complementary thing, right? What happened there? What does it say? Bro, are you fucking serious? Did it say that it was not connected? The mic? Hold on. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Got a little bit of scare because I think the mic was disconnected. Let me check. Yes, it was not it was disconnected and connected back. All right. Just now we were talking like so many traditional way, unconventional way. Just pick one that resonate with you. We're not going to force you. At the end of the day, it's your life, right? So now we're going to the next segment, the most favorite segment of the team.
Wait.
Oh, okay. Before we go there, Rafa has something.
Yeah, just a quick note for everyone working in education. if you want to keep things like they are, you're gonna fall behind quicker than you expect. Things are changing. You don't need a degree to be a good lecturer. You need to understand the world. You need to be empathetic with the students. You need to learn how to use the technologies that the students are doing. So if someone working in education is watching this, don't fall behind. Don't be that kind of lecturer that it's a pain for students and for the lecturers that want to do the things the right way. We need some kind of new lecturers. So yeah, I just wanted to say this in this chapter.
Yes, and we have to embrace change, guys. I'm not gonna talk about the discrimination that the both of us faced when we took this job, because I think it's kind of pointless to focus on that for now. But maybe we'll have a different kind of episode where we talk about that, right? So on to the next segment, which is my favorite segment, and I think Rafa's favorite segment too, music of the week. Rafa, you want to start? What is your music?
Yeah, I've been using this even for my classes, both for marketing and also for economics, because it has like a political message. But yeah, the last Bad Bunny's album, especially the Baile Inolvidable song, it's a piece of music that everyone can enjoy. So yeah, check it out. It's good stuff. Bad Bunny was not known for being a good artist, but in the last album, it became like it was very surprising to see him do this kind of good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know the title of the song, bro. I literally told Rafa before the recording. It's the Asarehe, Reha, Rehe. What's the name of the song? Asarehe. What does it mean, Rafa?
It doesn't mean anything literally.
It doesn't mean anything, kid. The thing is, in the early 2000s, I think 2003, 2004, man, I was like 8 or 9. It was a very popular music in Malaysia. I think it's all around the world, right? So I was walking to the venue of our location. Literally that song pops out and I was listening to it throughout my time walking, right? So that was my music. I'll put some link. All right, we are at the end of our segment where let's do a little bit of conclusion, right? So it actually, at the end of the day, guys, it depends on you. It's your future. It's your life, right? You need to decide what works best for you. But if you were to ask me, as someone who were against education, as a kid, actually, I don't really like going to school that much. I go to school just to have fun, to gossip with my friends, to gossip with my teachers, to talk with my friends, to have fun. Even when I go to boarding school, I hated my boarding school because the learning was so intense, but I love the brotherhood I've made through in my boarding school, and I love the friends that I made through college. I love the friends that I made through business school, because let's face it, right? I wouldn't meet this amazing person next to me and recording podcast in the middle of snow and sun in Kazakhstan if I don't enjoy my time in education, right? So education gives you access, and also it helps you improve yourself, right? In a way that you were never able to improve if you were outside, right? I'm not saying that you cannot improve outside, you can, but it gives you a little bit more perspective, right, Rafa?
Yeah. From my end, I would say education is not optional. You need to have it, whether it's formal or informal or certifications or you learn by yourself, whatever, that's up to you. That's up to your circumstances and your decisions. But you definitely need to keep learning, and it's not just a once in a lifetime thing. It's an ongoing process that will last forever, right? One of the best examples that I have about this is my dad, right? He keeps learning, and he has been doing that since I met him when I was born, right? So yeah, education is not optional. What is optional is all the rest, right? How, where, when, etc. That's up to you, but never stop learning.
Yes, guys, because the rich and all the politicians are trying to get everyone to not have a degree and be stupid so that they can manipulate you. It's controversial. I may have to edit this out. But yeah, it's true. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of us talking about whether your college degree is with it, whether you are pursuing your college degree, you're thinking of doing it. I hope this helped you a little bit, right? In the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how do we get Actually, I forgot what we're going to talk in the next episode. It's okay. You're going to watch it the next time, right? So, this is Ash reporting out from Not Like Us podcast, Beyond the Classroom. And
yeah, Rafa, Prof. Santacruz, is always good to know that it's some people over there watching us. So, keep supporting us. But more than anything, besides the liking and subscribing and stuff, the most important for us is your feedback. So, you have any comment, you have anything that you would change or would improve, or any good comments, they are also always welcome. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Click like, subscribe. Bye, guys.